Hello, my name is Cameron Johnson, and today I'll be talking about the problems and solutions of standardized testing. Before we begin, I want you to picture something. Imagine it is a Saturday in June, and there's perfect weather outside, and your family's planning to go to the lake. Except you can't share these ideas because you have to go and sit in a classroom for at least 4 hours to take the ACT. It's probably not the best plan. So how can we help solve these solutions for students, and how can we make this easier on students? I will first begin by making this relative. So you might be wondering how you could relate to this. Well, all high schoolers either have or will be in this situation. All high schoolers will have to take the ACT or other standardized testing. We all are faced with a hard decision, and these tests impact our futures in ways that we don't even really know how yet. So together, we will break apart the daunting factors of standardized testing and expose why it should not have as big of an impact on us as it does. In this speech, I will talk about the weight the ACT has on our lives, how test anxieties can potentially make us execute poorly, and then we'll offer solutions for both ideas. So, the first reason is the ACT can cast an unbearable weight on students. One of the main problems with the ACT is how big of an impact it makes on students' futures. The ACT decides whether students can graduate, apply for certain colleges, apply for certain scholarships, and even sometimes apply for certain jobs. The article Comparative Analysis of Knowledge Control states that existing tests typically measure only a singular type of competence, underscoring the need for tests that evaluate disciplinary and broader, including personal, social, professional, and communication skills. The ACT is not capable of capturing all of a student's hard work and worth. It limits how much a student can truly show their abilities by being just 4 subjects. As you can see, the ACT has 4 subjects: English, that's 45 minutes, math, that's 60 minutes, reading, that's 35 minutes, and science, that's 35 minutes. For every category that's in the ACT, the number of questions is actually more than the number of minutes that are provided for the student taking the test, which makes the outcome, or it makes it very daunting for the student to take when you already know that it's kind of setting you up for failure because it's more than the minutes that are provided to you. So the second one is the mental effects of standardized testing in the ACT. So a lot of students aren't that best of testers. Like me personally, when I'm taking a test, I always think about it too much, or I second guess myself, or I might even change an answer completely, which will make me do worse. So it is a known fact that students obviously face these issues during the ACT and other standardized tests. When students are struggling with anxiety over a test, it can prevent them from performing to their full potential, therefore harming their scores. And the article Bioscience Students in Physics Courses with the Higher Test Anxiety states that other studies have found that test anxiety negatively affects student performance, especially on high-stakes assessments, which can be that ACT or that standardized test that could get you into your certain college or a certain scholarship that you're applying for. So next is my first solution that I'm presenting. The first solution that I have is that we could change how much the ACT comes into effect when you're applying for those said things. So when you're applying for a scholarship, obviously your ACT score is the first thing they're gonna ask for, and if that's not good, well then that's gonna distract them from looking at your resume. So I feel like if we brought in more factors like a GPA or other factors that include service hours, job shadowing, or sports, extracurriculars, or how well you do in school, period, I feel like that would help out a student when they're applying for those said things. So as you can see, your GPA is carried with you your whole school career, as where an ACT, you can only work on that for 4 years. Most students really only do it their senior year, their junior year if you're lucky. So your GPA is carried, a weight that's carried with you your whole life, you work on it your whole life. I feel like that gives a perspective about someone a lot more than an ACT score. As you can see, GPAs range in A minus, B plus, B minus, B, C plus, C, C minus, D plus, D, D minus, and F, all ranging in these categories. And then scholarship application is where all those factors can really come in together, and those other factors can take the weight off the ACT. The second solution is dealing with the anxieties that students face when dealing with standardized testing. For this problem, I think the test should be shortened in questions or amount of time, or lengthen the amount of time that's given to the student. For most sections, like I stated earlier, the amount of questions is actually more than the amount of minutes that are provided to you. So it's setting those students up for failure because they can't pace themselves to the amount of minutes. This is just a map of the SAT/ACT testing requirements, the states that do require those students. So as you can see, Tennessee, which is where I live, does require the ACT or SAT, you can choose, but it requires that for colleges and to apply for certain scholarships or jobs. So this does affect me directly. Conclusion. I have previously provided two main problems about standardized testing: the anxieties that you faced and also the tests in general. One is that to a high extent, and two, it sets students up for failure by introducing feelings of anxiety and stress. I stated that one possible solution would be to edit the testing format of the ACT and other tests so that they are more achievable for students, and another solution would be to shift the amount of weight ACT holds in a student's future or plans. More than anything, I hope that you can relate to this speech and feel that you are not alone, and together we can overcome this together. Last, my works cited page for any of those curious. Thank you.